Hi, welcome to Channel Knit. I am reporter DS.
And my reporter Ken. Today we have my student, San, who I understand he's an INTJ. Okay, so DS is a ENTJ, right? He is an INTJ. So I guess most of two of you all share the NI characteristics.
Okay, except that his is a dominant function, mine is auxiliary function.
So yours is not as good as yours is not as good as his, is it?
NI is quite developed.
Huh?
So in your case, right, are you very familiar with how MBTI works?
Just roughly.
Also, you are. I would presume you are not very familiar with the MBTI's cognitive stacks, lah. Okay, so we should explain that, right?
Yeah, just
okay, because he's a 初学者.
Yeah.
So what actually happens is every MBTI type has got 4 cognitive stacks. So in your case, right, your dominant function is NI, your auxiliary function is TE, then your tertiary function is SE, followed. Sorry, it's not correct. It's
You want to write down? Yeah, so DS just now we were talking about the cognitive stack.
Yeah, so every MBTI type has got 4 cognitive stacks. The one that we use the most is called dominant function. And in this case, you can treat it like the pilot driving the plane most of the time. So in your case as an INTJ, your pilot or your dominant function is NI. So we'll talk about that later. Then after that, the second function that you use the most often after your dominant function is called the auxiliary function. So it's like the co-pilot. So the pilot and the co-pilot usually work together so that you make decisions. So in your case, your auxiliary function is TE. Then we have the third and fourth function. These two, right, we don't use that much, and it is usually not so developed, especially when you're not mature enough or when you're younger. So the third function, I usually use the analogy of cabin crew. So they usually don't they don't get into the cockpit basically. And the fourth function, right, is your inferior function, and that is something like the passengers in the plane. If they actually go into the cockpit and drive the plane, then it's disaster already. So in your case as INTJ, your tertiary function is FI, followed by SE, which is your inferior function, which means to say as an INTJ, you are not so good at executing things or doing things, or you are not very concerned about looking good, dressing up, because these are all very SE functions.
Not sure, maybe like there's other factors that affected me while I was growing up that might, like recently I care more about how I look. I think it might be the workplace effect.
Okay. So what actually happens is, right, we can talk about the inferior function a bit. So in my case as an ENTJ, my inferior function is FI, right? So usually it's like the passengers, they don't get into the cockpit to drive the plane. But sometimes because I have used up all my resources already, my TE and NI has found all the solutions already, and still it cannot work, I will go down to my inferior function to execute the last possibility already, and it's disastrous because FI is like a monster. So when I go into FI mode, right, because I have no other choice or I do not know what I can do to solve the problem, then FI becomes a demon whereby I start to throw tables or yell at other people. Basically, I'm angry with myself because it's a feeling of introverted feeling. I'm feeling angry, but I direct it to other people. But I seldom do it nowadays. I used to have FI outbursts quite a bit. So it's like this Gordon Ramsay yelling at people, because Gordon Ramsay is a textbook ENTJ. So in your case, your inferior function is SE, which means to say sometimes when you are stressed, and then no matter how right you think of solution, it doesn't work, you decide to go into a state of hedonism, which means to say, you decide to whole day go and play games, that kind of thing. You indulge in this kind of demon, but after that you feel very guilty about it because you know that this is not working. Does it happen?
Yeah.
So the INTJ, right, their inferior function is SE. So sometimes when they are lost, when they are depressed, then they might go into a state of addiction, like indulge in games and or could be alcohol, that kind of thing that is not productive. And when they suddenly wake up, they will wonder why they are doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is possible, is it? What do you know about your inferior function?
My inferior function.
It's NE.
Yeah. So what?
But I'm not too sure whether you actually use NE as a demon or not.
Not so much, I think.
Because I have no idea. I'm very familiar with INTJ type and ENTJ type familiar. So anyway, do you know what this NI thing is about or not? This introverted intuition, right, is a ability to daydream or to find solutions from within. So sometimes it's called gut feeling for some people. I'm not too sure because you are quite young, so you might not have developed an eye, but it is like when you are talking to a person, you can suddenly blank out because your mind has drifted somewhere else.
Yeah, sometimes it does in my class.
It's like that's because we have this filter. So the NI is interesting because we have this filter that actually does a lot of thinking. Coupled with T, it might lead to overthinking. So the INTJ might overthink quite a bit. So let's say you ask me to rate myself based on my intelligence. So I will think about it. So my first answer will be 9 upon 10. Then later, right, I say, but most of the people that I know are not so intelligent as I am there. So I give myself 10 upon 10. Then after that I say, I cannot give myself 10 upon 10, I must be humble. So finally I come up and answer is 8 upon 10. But inside my brain, right, I've actually processed already, but the answer comes out is 8 upon 10. But there is an internal filter system that has already thought about all the different possibilities. So the answer that I gave, right, actually has been heavily processed. Does it happen to you also?
Yes.
Oh, because this is a very NITE trait. So the combination, because we are very similar, right? It's just that for you, your NI is dominant. For me, my TE is dominant, followed by NI. So we have this filter system that works in a very interesting way. So let's say I ask you for a color that starts with A, for example. So in a person with NI, right, might think of a lot of possibilities. They will think apple red. Then they will say, is it a correct answer? Then they will filter and say no. So whatever answer they give is the most feasible or the best answer.
Is it?
I think most of the time, you have this filter system that will filter away answers you think that are illogical, not correct. So unlike NE, right, NE is all over the place. They brainstorm and they just keep throwing answers all over. So NI gives very precise, they narrow and converge into a good answer. So this is something that NI does. But however, because they go through a lot of filter, they think too much about things, right? So one of the things is they overthink and they might procrastinate action. And you like to plan a lot before you execute. So you don't like to be disturbed. Like for example, some people ask you, want to come out now or not? Joe, you now, you can't because you
already make plans.
Yeah, you have already made plans.
So does it mean that if suddenly I were to ask him out for something and then he will get very irritated?
Would you ask him?
It's more like I will see what I have ahead. If I'm free, then I don't mind. But if I have something planned, I'll just outright say, oh, I got something on.
What about DS? What about you?
Huh? Me?
Yeah. If suddenly I say, hey, you want to come out or not? Then you get very irritated. Do you get very irritated?
I don't know. So because of this trait, right, that the INTJ really needs to plan and maybe act very slowly. So people who do not know might actually type him as an SI dominant, you know. Because SI dominant do things very slowly.
Like for me, SI dominant, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is why, right, sometimes people can be mistyped. So anyway, just for curiosity's sake, in this case, how does an INTJ like yourself view the concept of love?
Love. Right now, no experience, but I think it's about, most importantly, it's about understanding each other and getting used to each other's personality as well as lifestyle.
Does it appear to be like, do you feel like you want it and yet you don't want it?
It's like in the spur of the moment, you want to look for someone who can understand you, but then you think about it, you'll be like, the commitments, the time, the money, then you'll be like, I don't want it.
So actually INTJs may find it very hard to get into a relationship. They will take a very long time before they commit. And finally, when they commit, the person already left already because the person thought that you are not interested. So this is one of the main pitfalls of an INTJ that if you understand, then you could possibly be a very good partner for the INTJ.
So does it mean that INTJ very hard to find love next time?
No, it's not that it's very hard for them to find love. They do know how to express it because their dominant function is
too many TE, right?
TE.
Yeah.
So they do know how to express it. And when they experience it, they do not know whether it is love. They do know whether it's like, so you have no experience at all, right? At the moment. Never had any experience in this. Okay. Then they cannot express whether they like, but deep inside they know that they like a person. It's just that they don't know how to say it. And then they might, very funny, let's say they like a particular person, they will try to gather a lot of information about a particular person online.
Yeah, dangerous.
So they will track, and then they might try to see whether this person is suitable or not. Then they will look at you very intensely. But for me, NI is a very interesting trait because usually I zone out. When my TE becomes very tired, that means my pilot gets very tired, right? Then I can go into the NE dominant mode, NI dominant mode, which means that for a moment I can behave like an INTJ. So I can totally zone out, right? When people are talking to me, right, they say, hey, that I cannot register. Does it happen to you quite often?
They will come and tell me, yeah, I call you just now. I'll be like, did you?
Yeah. Actually, they seem to be in days, but they are living in the future. They are always thinking about the future. This is a very interesting trait.
So do you think about the future?
Yeah.
Very long term.
Yeah.
Like 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road.
Yeah, to make plans.
And then you think more about the future. Then after that, how you move forward?
Yeah, I have to step by step plan out my 5 years plan, 10 years plan, etc.
So anyway, because INTJ and ENTJ, so you're INTJ and ENTJ, so we both have TE and NI as our pilots and co-pilots, just in different order. So the difference is very interesting because for an INTJ, right, and an ENTJ, both of us, right, we value efficiency, but we value efficiency in very different ways. So for example, the INTJ, they value efficiency, so they want to plan everything. So they got plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. So it's so efficient, right? They even know if plan A fails, then what I can do B, C, D, in that way. From their point of view, everything planned already, then they will just push out the plan. Then that is the most efficient. Because when things go wrong, then they quickly have something to back up and follow up. So in that regard, right, they find it very efficient. But from the ENTJ point of view, we value efficiency, but our efficiency is we act immediately because we don't want to lose the opportunity. Because lost opportunity is loss of efficiency. But I think as a pairing, right, we can actually pair quite well in this because we both have a lot of similar values. So if next time if you want to have a partner, I think the person that would be suitable for you most should have NI or maybe some thinking function as well.
Glad to understand my personality type today.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will see you the next time around. Remember to click the subscribe. Until then, bye.